Good morning. We're here with Jason Chan at Eastern Leaf. Good morning, Jason.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Thank you for inviting us.
I'll give you a fist bump.
There we go, man. Still during the pandemic, we still have these things to do. I'm gracious enough for you guys inviting us over. Where are we actually? So people don't know.
This is my business, Eastern Leaf, and then I have my warehouse behind you, and then this is kind of the warehouse. I call this the warehouse nursery, and that's basically where I keep some plants for people to browse if they want to come in and shop.
Awesome. And this is Chino,
California.
and the address is really quick if people want to visit.
4789 Cheyenne Way.
Great. And we're not too far away from the 60 and the 60 and the 71.
60, 71. We're pretty close. We're kind of in between. If you look us up, we're right in between. It's really easy to get here.
Nice. And then what type of retail shop is this? I mean, 'cause people may not know.
Well, we sell bonsai. So if you follow me around, we sell junipers. We specialize in beginner trees. So we got a lot of Chinese elms, a lot of junipers, which is my favorite, and then lots of broadleaf trees. So we have olives, boxwoods, hollies, lots of broadleaf trees that I like.
What's your
Maples.
One of your customer favorites?
My customer favorites go be the junipers. So one of our top selling products is going to be these junipers right here, and they're definitely they're catered to beginners, which for beginners, really the key thing is just learning how to keep the tree alive. So once you kind of get past that step, you can kind of move on to training and shaping your tree. But this is probably the number one seller.
And most of your customers are online, correct?
Most of the customers are online. And then we got requests for people to come into the store maybe about 10 years ago.
Really?
12 years ago. I used to keep it closed. And then we got people that wanted to come in. So then I decided to build this. This used to just be benches. And then I started to make it look a little bit nicer so that people could come in and shop.
Oh, it's like a retail store.
Yeah, and then we started adding a lot of other things, which are on the inside, pots, wire, tools, all the accessories. And so people can come and shop those as well.
And so you do have an online presence?
Yes.
So Easternleaf.
Easternleaf.com is our online presence. And that's been up since 2004. So that's been up for a while. That was up first, right? And then we opened up the retail later. And I built that one quite a while ago, and that's kind of where most of our business is from.
And then you do have a YouTube channel too.
Yeah, and then you can follow me at YouTube, Eastern Leaf, if you want to see videos of me.
We have some really great videos, almost 10 years ago. I mean, some of your beginning ones are really classic. I love them.
Oh, yeah, some of them. The first one I think I did was 7 years now, and I just threw up like a tripod and a camera. That was back when YouTube was kind of just like
Still
that.
Still new, yes.
And then I did like a couple of videos, some wiring videos, and those seemed to have caught on, and I just kept going.
That's awesome. And then let's look at a couple of your trees here. I mean.
Okay, so some of my nicer trees I keep at the other nursery, mostly for security reasons. But here I've got some trees. This is like my first show tree that I did. It was
Which
this one.
The Shimpaku?
This one's actually a Procumbens nana, but it's got more mature foliage. This was one of the show trees I did, and then this one's actually This one's one of the ones that I did on a recent video that people really got a kick out of. It's a cascade.
That's really beautiful, a nice cascade.
Yeah, and that one people seem to like that one. And then I've got the first tree I ever did that I was actually.
Have it?
Yeah, the first tree I ever did that I was actually pretty proud of, and it took me. I think it took me about 7 hours, and I did it. I don't know, from 8 o'clock at night until I finished it. Was this one right here? It's a semi cascade, and I basically was just in the dark under a fluorescent light, and that was when I first learned how to really kind of wire everything and lay out pad layers, and that took me a really long time. I could do it much faster now, but for the first one, I had to think about every single thing I was doing. But that's this tree.
So if you're a beginner, it's really practice.
It's a lot of practice. A lot of people ask me, how do I know what branches to cut, and it's really, the truth of it is that you've got a collection of trees that are in the back that you made mistakes on, and really it's just practice that eventually you kind of see the same patterns over and over again, and then you pick up on that, and then eventually you go straight to it.
Awesome. I do see a peach. That's really unusual. That's fruit on it. I mean,
Yeah, this
that's
one.
really unusual.
Yeah, I found, I have a lot of relationship with nurseries, local nurseries. Somebody had a peach, so I was like, why don't I throw that in a pot? And, we kind of came
I'm
out
surprised that it's alive with fruit on it.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
pretty well.
yeah, we put it in the pot. It's been in this pot for a while now, but people like to look at it.
Is it a dwarf peach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, that's really that compact.
It's pretty.
foliage.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? So.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so I got some trees here that I like a lot. Like here's a maple that I just finished. This one I was sitting here in a can for like, I feel like it was sitting here for about 8 years in this can.
That's a nice trunk.
Yeah, it was sitting here for a long time. So I had it for 8 years, and now it's already starting to grow out again after I just pruned it. But some of the trees, they were sitting here for a while, and then I finally decided to put them in a pot. Sometimes it's hard to get, when you're running the business, sometimes it's hard to actually do bonsai. But you find the time usually on the weekends.
So
are
you really
nice.
specialize in that beginning material,
Yeah.
pre-bonsai stuff.
Yeah, the pre-bonsai, like the material, the raw material would be at the nursery, but we mostly specialize in stuff that's kind of ready to take care of.
Awesome.
A lot of people are buying these for gifts, and some of these people that are the recipients aren't actually bonsai experts. So you're kind of giving them something to start with, just to learn how to keep it alive, and then from there, that's when you kind of get into the hobby and start trying to do other things.
What's some of the more unusual materials that you have here that most people would not have?
Well, most of this stuff I'd say is locally, obviously local stuff that's kind of for our zone. Here I've got a Dwarf Wisteria, and this. Oh no, sorry. It's this guy. This guy right here. This is the Jacqueline Hiller helm. This guy right here, this Dwarf Wisteria. That's really popular.
Dwarf Wisteria.
Yeah, that one's kind of made almost for us. I mean, we special order those, and those are grown for us.
What's the scientific name of that? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Is that the one with a really small flower? If it
This
flowers?
this one, if it flowers, that'd be really rare for it to do that. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's
Okay,
more.
so
of,
that is that variety. It's a.
but it's really rare. But it's more of for this. It's the leaves.
Foliage.
Yeah, it's tiny. That's kind of. And then I go hunting for. Since I have relationships with a lot of nurseries, I'll hunt for material, like rare material, and if I see it, I'll try to get it. You can't. A lot of times nurseries will just do limited batches, and you got to get them. Once they're gone, they're gone. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's one of them. I mean, the rest of it's kind of, the common trees that you would find. Chinese elms are very popular. I mean, at the nursery, I've got shimpaku, I've got those things, but in terms of for beginners, you're really sticking to the main Juno, the Procumbens nana. That's going to be the best for beginners. And then the basic Chinese elm, broadleaf tree, clip and grow technique, that's kind of the best for beginners. That's what I always recommend.
And then we're in Chino, so this is like almost Inland Empire, San Bernardino County. How do you take care of the humidity, trying to get everything like humid enough in here?
So like you can kind of feel it's nice in here right now, right? It's really nice, even though it's hot in the sun. I've got this shade cloth, which is about 60%.
Okay.
So this is always on here. A lot of these trees, they like full sun, but just because I've got a lot of trees in small pots, when it starts to bake here during the summer, I've got the shade cloth 60%, and then I've got the irrigation system goes on twice a day.
Oh, you have an irrigation system? I don't even know.
Yeah, so it goes on.
Oh, they're on top.
Yeah, they're on top.
Oh,
so it
geez,
goes.
they're right here. So.
Yeah, and it goes off twice a day. And sometimes during the summer we got to do it again, like 2 or 3 times. And then some trees back there, or I have some succulents back there, or I've got some jades. Those ones don't need it as much, so those ones are on a different cycle. But you're basically just trying to create that humidity, and also the fact that we're lucky, we're on this side of the building. It gets a lot of. Unfortunately, it blocks the morning sun, but just being in between these buildings kind of helps with the.
A small microclimate on there.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed you probably water by hand too.
I water by hand as well. That's
a lot of work.
I've got some trees here that I keep some of my mid-tier trees here, just for customers they like to look at. So it's like some of these right here. I've got a Frank Goya tree right there.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've got some that are gifts.
Saike?
Yeah, Saike. So I've got some that are gifts. Some of them that I made myself. Some of them you'll notice are from the videos.
Yes.
Like the middle one is the one that people have been following for the last, I don't know, 4 years. The Prostrata right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, with the nice movement. That one I think customers have been following, or viewers have been following that one for the last 3 or 4 years.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I might eventually graft that one.
Really?
I might. I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. But then they enter a new phase. You know what I mean? A whole new phase. But I got.
You should sell it. Sell it.
I
Sell it
should.
online.
Well, actually, I get.
Tree that someone will follow.
Yeah, I get a lot of offers on that one. But that's just kind of like the tree that was part of the channel, I guess.
Awesome.
So I
noticed you got pots too. So if your people are looking for pots.
I've got pots, and I've got a few. I mean, here I've just got display.
So people may not notice that Jason sells product on the other side too. So if you go online, I actually went to your website to see what you have, and I'm like really shocked at the depth and the breadth that you have.
Yeah, actually, it's low right now because of obviously COVID and supply shortage and all that supply chain.
So it's hitting you too.
Oh, it's hitting everybody. It's hitting us for sure. Containers are delayed. Everything's delayed. But I've got one coming in. I've got a container coming in at the hopefully end of this month or beginning of July, and that's when you're going to see our pot selection just explode again.
So you have a great selection of pots for trees. So
this is just display. A lot of customers come in. They like to shop individually, but most of the stock is actually on the other side. That's where we keep all the cases of pots, which is not really interesting to watch, but it's just cases of pots.
Cute. Look, you have a little display.
Yeah.
These are embarrassing, aren't they? They're great to keep.
I know, but I have to keep it, right? It's like the only one. When does anybody ever go do that for me again? But this was at Sherman Library Gardens, and that was nice of them. I did a demo there, and they did that for me, and I thought that was kind of fun. So I've got pots, and then I got wire. I just got my shipment of wire. So I'm all.
For wire. Here we go. It's on hit Jason before
the
pandemic hits him now.
I'm all stocked up on wire, and then.
Wipe and clean, people. Wipe and clean.
And then I've got different tools. So I've got my Chinese tools here. These are made in China tools. I got some Japanese ones here, and I have a big collection of Japanese tools on the other side that I kind of keep on that side just.
Is there any quality difference between Japanese tools and Chinese tools that you see?
I think there is, but the ones I carry, like these Chinese ones, I used to use these ones in my toolkit, and then I think that in terms of price, it's really good for the price. Like there's definitely some cheaper Chinese tools that I stay away from.
Okay.
But
the mid-range ones are
the mid-range
for the cost.
Yeah, especially if you go with like stainless steel, I think it's pretty good. You don't have to worry about leaving out in the your garden, and they hold an edge pretty good. Like I was using this one for the longest time. And I think the only reason I stopped was because I was like, okay, let me try a Japanese tool. And then it wasn't like it was bad.
So it's the regular shears.
Yeah, the Satsuki shear, yeah. But I mean, the Japanese tools, some of them, you just like graze yourself and you'll slice your arm. So they're
the sharpness, the hole holds the edge is a little different.
Like this one, this is the old timers shear, a drop forward shear. This is what all the old guys used to use, all the old Japanese guys, and they still do. Man, this one I just like grazed my arm and I sliced it. This tip
and you
here.
Never noticed.
Yeah, I didn't even notice. That's how sharp it was. But drop forward shear, that's a good quality shear.
I just noticed like grafting knives, the Japanese grafting knives.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're like
super sharp.
They're like you don't even. I'm like, no, you're grafting or you're carving the edge really, and then you're like, where's this blade coming from?
Yeah.
And then I know, and
then you got this.
You don't feel it at all. So
yeah. But the Chinese tools, I think they've definitely gotten better. Especially this, the brand I carry, the Ruiga brand. I think they're pretty phenomenal. And then I've got the Japanese tools as well. They're on the other side. I'll show it to you later. I have Connection tools, and those are fantastic. I have to say those are very good tools. And that shipment, they'll sell out pretty fast. So that shipment's coming in any day now. It could. Oh wait, maybe July. Everything's kind of any day now, but ends up being a month later. But yeah, and then the wire.
Around the corner. See anything else that people may not notice that you would sell?
Well, okay. The rest of like this warehouse here is going to be our fulfillment. So I've got my team that's.
So this is your small Amazon.
Yeah. So this is kind of like where everything happens. All the trees get boxed up. I mean, it's really not that interesting, but we've got different stations for everybody.
He does have money trees. I mean, it's something that you may not notice that he has money trees. He has the tea trees. I don't know what they call those.
The which ones?
The little bamboo.
The bamboo. Just lucky bamboo. I've got a ton of those around the corner here.
So if you're looking for those, I mean, Jason has them.
Yeah. So I got lucky bamboo there, and same with supply shortages. It's been tough to get things.
Really?
Yeah, it's been tough to get everything. But yeah, for the most part, this is kind of the retail area. If you go into there, that's just where we have our soil. We mix our soil. It's really not that interesting.
You need soil? It's Jason's Consistently come to?
Yeah, we got lots of soil. And then I think last year we started adding succulents. No, not last year. About 2 or 3 years ago, we added succulents, and those ones have been popular. I like them a lot. I've got one staff member that knows how to take care of them really well, and she's in charge of the succulents. So I kind of do the bonsai. Now the nursery, I've got help on the bonsai as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then how do you get?
Oh, we have air plants in here
How
too.
do you get your name? Eastern Leaf.
Eastern Leaf. So what was it 2004? Yeah, I was in San Diego. We're living in San Diego with my wife, and we're like.
You're San Diegan?
No, I was originally from up here. Then we moved down to San Diego for school.
Okay.
And so I started this while I was in school.
You did?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I started in school, and then we were selling at farmers markets on the weekend. So we're trying to think of a name, and I was like, okay, we were only selling Lucky Bamboo. That was our first product we ever sold. So I was like, okay, there's a leaf on the Lucky Bamboo, and then I was like, okay, it's kind of from Asia, so it's like the East, and it just came out as Eastern Leaf, and that's a pretty simple name, and it stuck. And then we had a friend help us with our logo. That's right there. Uh-huh. And it's just kind of stuck like that.
Nice.
And you want a name that kind of like is interesting, kind of gets less interesting as it goes. It's kind of like it's a little bit more plain, and Eastern Leaf kind of seemed to fit it really well.
So you started since college. I'm impressed.
It was actually in graduate school. So
really?
I in graduate school.
Were you a business major, I hope?
Law school.
Law school.
Yeah. So I started this in it was at University of San Diego. I think I started this in the first year. I was a 1L, and so I was going to farmers markets on the weekends and then studying on the other days. And
it took over.
Yeah, it was unexpected. And then Lucky Bamboo started, and then Renee, my wife, she bought me a Chinese elm. She bought me one, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And where it
goes.
Did
you still have it?
No, that one's sold a long time ago. I still remember the shape. I remember what it looked like. I probably have a picture of it somewhere, but that's kind of where it started. Wow. Yeah, with one Chinese elm.
Well, one Chinese elm started the whole business.
Yeah, and then I try to keep it.
You went into the, you dove into the rabbit's hole?
Yeah, the rabbit's hole was a little bit deeper than I thought. Wait till you see the nursery, then you'll see what. Yeah, but
Let's look at the Telencias.
Oh yeah, I've got some air plants. So this was added by the person that added the succulents, and I built this greenhouse.
Bobby actually got a greenhouse for it too.
Yeah, I built this, and I got some Telencias in there.
Honestly, you have a really eclectic blend of stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually starting to do staghorns as well. See, I got staghorn here, some staghorns, some Sansevierias. Got some I really like this. There's one right behind you that's on a board.
That's pretty crazy because they need like super humidity, don't they?
This greenhouse has been doing really well. We had to put a shade over it because it was getting too hot. But after we did that, I mean, if you look at the plants, they're pretty happy.
Healthy,
yeah, we have to leave the door open, just give you some circulation, especially when it gets hot. So I think this one is usually the window is open. But yeah, the air plants, they like you here.
My wife she loves the air plants.
Yeah, so I built this greenhouse so customers could come in. It's funny because I built this greenhouse. The intention was to build it so customers could come in last year, but of course because of the pandemic, shut down. But now I cleaned it up. Now people are coming in here again, and they're browsing. So they look at succulents, look at bonsai, look at air plants. It's just kind of
a really eclectic mix of interest of people that comes through.
Yeah, it's just kind of for fun. I open it just mostly for fun, so people have something different to look at.
Oh, you see, we got Frankie.
Those are Frank. Yeah,
I was like, dude, look at these guys.
Yeah, Frank is he's a good friend, so I go visit him once in a while, and he's the one that does the Cork Jades.
So if someone needs some Cork Jades, Jason has a couple for sale.
Yeah, and you'll see them kind of scattered throughout. The Cork Jades, since they're from Frank, I kind of value them, pretty highly.
Frank's getting old too.
Yeah, I value them pretty highly.
They're really unique. I have one, and they're very unique. I must admit, they're really unique.
Yeah, I like them a lot. And they're so easy to take care of,
Oh,
it's just when you bend them, you just gotta be careful, otherwise you'll snap it right off. But
like you said, do you need water? No.
Yeah.
How does the Japanese maples do in this heat?
In the heat, let me close this. In the heat, that's why it's funny because you're talking about like kind of a mini climate. Within this nursery here, or just this little space, I've got a cooler area. That's for the maples that are right here. This area is the coolest. It has, they do well here. During the summer, I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Especially where we are, it's going to burn. But if you defoliate a little bit, come late summer, then you can kind of get rid of some of that. But they do pretty well. I mean, right now they're pretty healthy. You came at a nice time. It's not getting hot until maybe next week, I think. So they're pretty happy.
Or 110 degrees
Yeah.
for like a week.
They're pretty happy right now. And then
How's the water quality in this?
the water quality here it's pretty alkaline.
That's really normal.
Yeah, so it will cause that burning. But I've got some, since I have a nursery, I've got access to some things that can kind of lower that pH a little bit. So then my leaves will stay a little bit.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. And the salt here, there's a whole bunch of contributing factors just to where we are that kind of cause that burning.
Well, I think that's all mostly like Southern Cal.
Yeah.
So our water quality is not the best in the city.
Yeah.
So.
But they do as they get, as good as they can. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've got some funny ones here too.
I know. They're looking really pretty good.
Yeah, some of these, aren't bonsai, but they're cool.
They're yard trees. Some people want a
Yeah.
yard tree.
Yeah. I use them for decoration. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
And I'll put the descriptions up below, so if anybody wants to check your webpage out, your YouTube videos, or your store, that's probably the best way to contact.
Yeah.
And you do ship.
I do ship throughout the United States. Can't go Hawaii or Alaska though.
Why is that? Is it just regular?
Hawaii agriculture for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Alaska sometimes I get the same reason.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I'll put that in the description. If you guys like it, just give me a thumbs up and then leave a comment.
All
Thank
right.
you, Jason, for this.
All right, thank you, Tom.